Hello everyone, this is BJ Tutor. Welcome back to the channel. And the topic that we are going to learn in this video is using expressions practical. It means that we are going to learn on how to use the expressions in a practical situations. So students, here we have 3 columns, and in the first column they have written situations. It means that they will be giving us a certain type of situations. And in the next column we have, what do we have here? Yes, variables. Means we are going to use a variable. And in the next column we have statement using expressions. Statement using expressions. It means that we are going to use the given situation and we are going to write it in a statement using expressions. Okay, so let's try the first one. So students, let us try to read the first given situations. So it says Sarita has 10 more marbles than Raju. Understood? So it means that there's a girl named Sarita, and this girl Sarita, she has 10 more marbles. She has 10 more marbles. Then whom? Then Raju. Understood? Sarita has 10 more marbles than Raju. And we are going to find the number of marbles Sarita has. Okay? So, the first question that we need to ask to ourselves is, what is the number of marbles Raju has? The number of marbles Raju has. So, do we know the number of marbles Raju has? No, right? So, we are going to use a variable to denote the number of marbles for Raju. So, let's write. Let Raju have, and we are going to use a variable. So you can use any variable. So for me, let me use the variable x. So let Raju have x marbles. X marbles. So it means that the number of marbles Raju has is how many? X. Then what will be the number of marbles Sarita has? What will be the number of marbles Sarita have? So the number of marbles Sarita have will be, Sarita has, how many marbles will she have? Remember, in the given situation it says Sarita has 10 more marbles than Raju. Understood? And we have taken the number of marbles for Raju to be x. So Sarita will have how many marbles? X. And it says 10 more. So more means plus. So x plus 10 marbles. So our friend Sarita will have x plus 10 marbles. Understood? So this is how we are going to write in the statement. We are going to write the given situation in a statement using the expressions. Okay, let's try another one. So student, next, the given situation is Balu is 3 years younger than whom? Raju. Understood? There's a boy named Balu, and he is 3 years younger. Don't forget this word, younger than Raju. So we are going to write the given situation in a statement using expressions. Understood? So first of all, the question that we need to ask to ourselves is, before we find the age of Balu, do we know the age of Raju? What is the age of Raju? So is the age of Raju given in the situation? No, right? So we are going to use a variable to denote the age of Raju. So for me, I will use the variable x. So let Raju's age B. So for me, I will take the variable x. B x years. Let Raju's age be x years. Then, what will be the age of Balu? It says 3 years younger. Understood? So when it comes in terms of age, when it's about younger, then we have to do subtraction. Okay, so it says Balu is 3 years younger than Raju, and we have taken the age of Raju to be x years. So what will be the age of Balu? Balu's age is, so the age of Balu will be, since it says he is 3 years younger than Raju, so Balu's age will be x minus 3 years. Understood? So student, next we have condition number 3, and it says because is twice as old as Raju. It means that there's a boy named Vikas and his age is twice that of the age of Raju. Twice the age of Raju. So we are going to find the age of Vikas using the variable. And we are going to write it in a statement using expressions. So before we find the age of Vikas, we have to find the age of Raju. Right? So from this situation, do we know the age of Raju? Do we know the age of Raju? No. The age of Raju is not given, right? So we will use a variable to denote the age of Raju. Then after that, using that variable, we can find the age of Vikas. Understood? So let us use a variable to denote the age of Raju. So for me, let me use the variable x. You can use any variable. So let Raju's age be, so for me, let me use the variable x. Be x years. Let Raju's age be x years. And in this column, let us try to write the age of Vikas. So according to the situation, it says Vikas is twice the age of Raju, right? So Vikas' age will be Vikas is, and it says twice the age of Raju. So Vikas' age will be 2 times of x. X is the age of Raju. So twice the age of Raju. So Vikas' age will become twice x. Understood? Let's try another one. Next then, we have situation number 4. And it says Raju's father's age is 2 years more than 3 times Raju's age. 2 years more than 3 times Raju's age. So let us try to understand the situation. It says there's a boy named Raju. Okay, and his father age is 2 years more. His father means the father Raju. The age of Raju's father is 2 years more than 3 times Raju's age. So if we want to find the age of Raju's father, we need to find the age of Raju first, right? We need to know the age of Raju first. So question that we need to ask to ourselves is, do we know the age of Raju? No, right? But the condition to find Raju's father age is given. But the thing is, we do not know Raju's age. So we are going to use a variable to denote Raju's age. So for me, let me use the variable x. Let Raju's age be x years. Let Raju's age be x years. So here, Raju's age become x years. Then, let us try to use the given situation to find the age of Raju's father. So, Raju's father's Raju's father's is. So here we are going to write the age of Raju's father. So let's read the situation once again. It says Raju's father's age is 2 years more than 3 times. Remember, in the last video I have told you that when you come across the word times, it means, yes, multiplication. So 3 times means 3 into, then 3 times Raju's age. What is the age of Raju? X, right? So thrice x, or simply we can say 3x. 3 times the age of Raju. Raju's age is x. And this 3, from where does this 3 come from? It comes from 3 times. And it says 2 years more. So when we came across the word more, it means the value will be added. So plus 2. So Raju's father age will become 3x plus 2 years. 3x plus 2 years. Understood? So next to then we have situation number 5. And it says, how old will Rani be 5 years from now? So it means that there's a girl named Rani, and we are gonna find her age 5 years from now, means after 5 years. What will the age of Rani after 5 years? Right? So the question that we need to ask to ourselves is, do we know the present age of Rani? Do we know the present age of Rani? It's not given in the situation, right? So in order to find the age of Rani 5 years from now, we need to know the present age of Rani, right? We need to find the present age of Rani, right? So we are going to use a variable to denote the present age of Rani. So for me, I will take the variable x. So let x be the present age of Rani. Right? And since we have the present age of Rani, we can easily find the age of Rani after 5 years. So since it says 5 years from now, so before we write the statement, let me give you one example. So let's say your present age now is, let's say, 14 years. 14 years. Your present age now is 14 years. Then what if I ask you, what will be your age after 6 years? What will be your age after 6 years? Then what will be your age? It's very simple, right? This 6 will be added to your present age, that is 14. And your age after 6 years will be, yes, 20 years. Right? So similarly, like this, instead of 14 years, which is your present age, here we have the present age of Rani to be x year, right? So instead of 14, we have x years, the present age of Rani. Then I told you what will be your age after 6 years, right? So instead of 6 years, we have here 5 years. After 5 years means 5 will be added to the present age. So the present age, so the age of Rani after 5 years will be, yes, x plus 5. So let's write it down. Let's write. So Rani's age after 5 years. After 5 years equal to, so the present age of Rani is x. And since it says 5 years from now, so 5 will be added. And Rani's age will become x plus 5. Understood? Next to then we have another condition. It says, how old was Rani 4 years ago? So here we are going to find the age of Rani 4 years ago. Understood? 4 years ago. Not 4 years from now. It says 4 years ago. So the question that we want to ask to ourselves is that, do we know the present age of Rani? No, right? So that means we have to use a variable to denote the present age of Rani, right? So for me, let me use the variable x. So let x be the present age, of Rani. Let x be the present age of Rani. Then, since it says 4 years ago, that means your value 4 will be subtracted from the present age, that is x. So Rani's age 4 years ago was, let's write down, Rani's age 4 years ago is equal to, so 4 will be subtracted from the present age of Rani, right? And the present age of Rani is x. So x minus 4 years. Understood? So that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in next video.